Hello, and welcome to my channel, where I mostly share my love of fragrance and enjoying my collection. In this video, I'll be reviewing the new limited edition Bombshell Tour perfume collection from Victoria's Secret. Thank you so much for stopping by, and let's get started. Victoria's Secret recently launched a world tour that's sort of a fashion show and marketing campaign, and they surprised us with a perfume collection to match. The Bombshell Tour is comprised of different flankers of Bombshell named after cities around the world. This is a limited edition line, and it's available now online, and it's supposed to be in stores as well, but it doesn't show available at any of mine, so either they sold out quickly or they didn't get them. VS hasn't really advertised the perfumes much. They just popped up online last week, and I ordered them blind. I was excited to try these, even though I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of the original Bombshell. I do like some of the summer and holiday flankers, but I tend to prefer the Tease line, which typically has sweeter scents. Most Bombshell scents have peony in them, and while I don't dislike it, it's not one of my favorite floral notes. There are 4 new fragrances in the Bombshell Tour collection, and I picked up all of them. They only come in one size, 1.7 ounces, for $69.95 US, which is $10 more than the scents in the core Bombshell line. They come in the standard striped Bombshell bottle, and I have to say I'm a bit disappointed in the packaging. The bottles all look the same, except they have different colored labels. I wish they had put more effort into customizing each bottle to match its namesake location. The inside of the boxes the perfumes come in are really beautiful, and I don't see why they couldn't at least put those same prints on the back of the bottles. The Bombshell Tour collection includes Bombshell Lagos, representing the largest city and former capital of Nigeria, Africa. Bombshell Bogotá, representing the capital of Colombia. Bombshell Tokyo, representing the capital of Japan. And Bombshell London, representing the capital of England. And before I get into the reviews, note that Victoria's Secret only likes to list 3 fragrance notes for their perfumes, so it's always a bit hard to tell what else is in them, but I'll do my best to note what I'm sensing in each fragrance. Keep in mind, anything beyond the official notes are just my perception, so your experience may vary. And now let's get on to the reviews. First up is Bombshell Lagos, which comes in the bottle with the yellow label. And this has notes of flame peony, velvet tamarind, and wild yellow hibiscus. And it's described as, inspired by the energy of Lagos, this vibrant scent opens with velvet tamarind, a tropical fruit native to West Africa. Flame peony adds a fruity facet when mixed with hibiscus petals. And this opens bright and fruity. And I'm not exactly sure what tamarind smells like, but this most closely resembles a tropical fruit like mango, only with a little sharpness to it. The hibiscus and peony add a soft floral sweetness, and as it dries, it becomes a bit sweeter, and the fruit has a more watery feel, and the scent feels a bit light and airy overall. To me, this is a tropical fruity floral with a sort of airy and ozonic quality, and the hibiscus feels more prominent than the peony. I was a little worried about this one because I don't always like hibiscus, and I don't dislike this, but I wouldn't say I love it either. I think it's pleasant enough, but it doesn't stand out to me as anything special. I will say, though, that I enjoyed it more the second time I tried it. And for reference, I don't think I have any other Bombshell or Victoria's Secret perfumes with similar notes to Bombshell Lagos. Next up is Bombshell Bogotá, which comes in the bottle with the purpley pink label. And this has notes of neon peony, coffee flower, and gardenia. And it's described as a luxurious blend of Bogotá native coffee flower and creamy gardenia create a captivating aroma. Blooming notes of neon peony reveal a fresh, bright floral sea. And this opens with a really pretty bouquet of white flowers, and I get some fruitiness as well. That's maybe something like pear. As the florals come in, the gardenia feels most prominent, and it's creamy and a bit sweet. From what I can tell, coffee flower doesn't actually smell like coffee, and I don't get any coffee in this. The gardenia starts to blend with the peony and coffee flower, and the scent becomes a very heady floral. To me, this started as a pretty straightforward white floral, but in the dry down, I feel like it starts to change. It has an added woodiness, as well as some additional sweetness. If I had to guess, I'd say it was sandalwood, and maybe a touch of something sweet like tonka bean. It just feels really creamy and warm. This one surprised me, and I found myself wanting to sniff it again and again because it's really intriguing. There are other VS perfumes with gardenia, such as teas, but none in my collection with a similar combination of notes as Bombshell Bogotá. Then I have Bombshell Tokyo, which comes in the bottle with the peachy pink label. And this has notes of blush peony, cherry blossom, and sparkling lychee. And it's described as like flowers bloom in a Tokyo springtime. Bright cherry blossom and blush peony burst at the heart of this fragrance. Radiant lychee creates a sparkling signature finish. And this opens with the bright lychee, which does have a bit of a sparkling quality. The cherry blossom is plentiful and fragrant, and adds a softly powdery feel. And sometimes cherry blossom can have a fruity touch, but I'm not getting that here. It is more cherry blossom and not cherry. The peony is also present, and combines with the cherry blossom to produce a strong floral. As it dries, I do get a bit of sweetness, as well as a sort of subtle almondy quality. To me, this is a very floral-forward cherry blossom scent with a touch of fruitiness and a lightly powdery sweetness. I think it's quite pleasant, and if you like cherry blossom fragrances, you may want to give this one a try. There aren't really any other Bombshell fragrances that I'm aware of with similar notes to Bombshell Tokyo. Bombshell Gold has lychee and peony, but it's much more of a woody scent. And lastly, there's Bombshell London, which comes in the bottle with the pale pink label. And this has notes of garden lace peony, English rose, and blackcurrant. And it's described as enchanted by the botanical charm of London. This floral fragrance features luminous garden lace peony at its heart. Beloved English rose and budding blackcurrant add a soft hint of berry. And this opens with slightly sharp, tart blackcurrant that has some greenness, as well as a bit of a syrupy sweetness. The rose feels more like dried rose petals with leaves and stems than it does fresh-cut flowers. I feel like the peony also has a rosiness to it, as that's all I'm really getting from the florals. As it dries, it does soften some, and there is a hint of sweetness, but I'm not getting anything that's really tempering the sharpness of the rose and blackcurrant. To me, this is a rose-heavy scent, with a little blackcurrant and a very, very subtle fruity floral sweetness. I do like rose fragrances, and I also enjoy blackcurrant, but I feel like this is lacking sweetness or even some powderiness. The fruit isn't amped up enough to compete with the rose, which just feels dry to me. I wouldn't say this is a bad scent, but when I want a rose and blackcurrant scent, I feel like I'm going to reach for something like Armani C. Fiori, which has similar elements, but also has a beautiful vanilla sweetness. If you want a rose scent from Victoria's Secret, I would recommend trying Bare Rose instead. There are other versions of Bombshell with blackcurrant, such as Bombshell Summer, Paradise, and Beach, but those have grapefruit and a different floral, so they're brighter and more citrusy. Last year's holiday scent, Bombshell Magic, has blackberry and peony, but it doesn't have rose. Overall, I have slightly mixed feelings on this collection. I love the World Tour theme, and I like having the opportunity to try several new scents at once. But there are some good and not so good things about this line. First off, the packaging feels plain and sort of boring. The Bombshell bottles are okay, and I'm glad they kept the ribbons, but they could have done so much more to customize the bottle for each scent to match its location. As far as the fragrances, I didn't really dislike any of them, but I would say that there's only one real standout for me. If I had to rank them, my least favorite would be Bombshell London. I didn't expect that, as I really like rose fragrances, but it's just too dry for me, and it doesn't have the sweetness that I was hoping for. Next would be Bombshell Lagos. It's not an especially unique scent, but it is a pleasant tropical fruity floral with a light airy quality. It gets a bit sweeter as it dries, and I like how the hibiscus softened over time. And coming in second is Bombshell Tokyo. I do enjoy cherry blossom scents, and I think this one has a nice soft powdery sweetness with touches of lychee and almond. It feels really delicate and pretty. And that leaves Bombshell Bogotá as my far and away favorite. It's a woody floral with a lovely gardenia and an almost delicious sweetness. I really love this one, and it just stands out to me far and above the rest of the scents. As far as strength and longevity, none of these fragrances seemed particularly strong to me, but Bombshell Bogotá was noticeably stronger and longer lasting. The other three seemed about the same, and I think a bit lighter than some of the core Bombshell scents. It's really going to vary based on how you apply it, and I wish that VS had made matching lotions, as I think that usually helps their perfumes last longer. So that's it for my review of the Bombshell Tour perfume collection from Victoria's Secret. Let me know what you think of these scents and if you're going to give any of them a try. Thank you for watching, I hope that you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.